Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California joins us now from Capitol Hill. Congressman Khanna, thank you so much. What do you make of President Trump blaming Democrats for the Epstein files brouhaha, saying that it's your party perpetrating a hoax on unsuspecting Republicans?
Jake, this is the first time he's getting ratioed on Truth Social by his own base. His own base knows that's not true. He campaigned on releasing these files. And just to update Manu, because he's always knows the details, but Thomas Massie has been texting me all day. We introduced this resolution together. He already has 7 Republicans signed up as co-sponsors, and we're going to deliver all 212 Democrats. So we already have the threshold to get a vote on this, and I expect that count is going to continue to go up today and tomorrow.
And this is to force, this is a discharge petition, right? It's going to force this bill onto the floor of the House, and then what does it say?
So it's both the discharge petition and the bill. It's the discharge petition is to force it on the House. The way it works is Thomas Massie and I introduced it yesterday. It takes 7 legislative days before you can actually go through the discharge petition. We're likely going to be in August recess. So the reality is it probably will come up for a vote after the August recess. And the bill says to release all evidence for the Epstein file, but it makes it clear that does not include any of the victim information. It does not include any child pornography. It gives the DOJ the ability to protect the victims, but to release all the other evidence and files.
So here's the thing. I've been following this story now for years. It seems possible, if not likely, that the Justice Department and the various investigations, whether the U.S. Attorney in Miami or the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York or anyone else looking into this, might have found the names of very wealthy, powerful men that maybe availed themselves of women who were either underage or barely 18 years old, 19 years old, but they did not think it was prosecutable for whatever reason. And sometimes, as you know, and this is not a perfect world in which we live, sometimes prosecutors make decisions like that because the accusers are, for want of a better term, young prostitutes. People who, that the defense might have an easy time attacking on the stand. And so they just decide to not go through it. I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that is a decision prosecutors made. Do you still think that those people's names should be released? I'm not the victims, not the prostitutes, not the former sex workers, et cetera. I'm talking about the businessmen that may have availed themselves of this horrific crime.
Jake, I do. You make the best argument substantively for cautioning on a release, and that is that DOJ policy has basically been don't leak things unless you're going to charge someone. And that policy as a general matter makes sense. You wouldn't want a Justice Department being politicized, releasing information about members of Congress or senators without charging them just to embarrass them. You can see how that really would be a bad precedent. But this is an unusual case, and I think the president should say this has implicated so many people, some who were serving in government, some foreign leaders. There are questions about whether U.S. or foreign governments were involved. The Attorney General now has said that there potentially could be a client list. I campaigned on the release, and we're going to make an exception in this case to restore trust and put everything out there and trust the American people not to judge people if they're innocent. But there should be a one-time exception, not a change in the DOJ rule.
I did not use the word innocent. I said people that were not prosecuted. That does not necessarily mean innocent. One last question. Have you gotten any sort of understanding? I know you work with a lot of Republicans, including Congressman Massie. Do you have any sort of understanding as to why the president has done such an about-face on this after literally campaigning on it last fall?
I think the president just didn't realize. far be it from me to tell him about his own voters, but what a big deal this would be. And he has managed in the past to do an about face on other things. He said he would end the war on day one. He didn't. People gave him a pass. We can go on and on. The point isn't to point out where he's fallen short. And on this, I think he thought he'd get away with it. He'd say, okay, I campaigned on this. We gave it the old college try, and now we're moving on. And his base would move on with him, like they have on almost every other thing. But the reason they aren't is this goes to the core of why he ran, a fundamental disgust and disdain for powerful elite people who many Americans think have too much influence in our government and have their thumb on the scale. And it goes to the heart of his populism. And that's why I think he's underestimated the anger in the base. It's the first time in Congress you have Republicans, even if they're not publicly disagreeing, privately disagreeing. And I think ultimately he's going to have to release these files. I just don't see it being plausible that he's going to be able to continue without the release. They may not pass Massey and my bill, but he will be pressured to release these files.
All right, Congressman Ro Khanna, Democrat of California. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.